Gamers, do you want some of this? Of course you do. I've got news for you though. You can't have it. You can't have a bloody ounce of it. Seriously. An ounce of the thing that could get you literally anything. Point blank. Period. Alright? But the thing is, gamer, you're too young. I get it. Naive. Dumb. A whore. I mean, the amount of hot chip you consume is holding you back. We'll get back to that in a minute. Gamer. Forgive me, I was just looking down on you for a minute. Disgusting. But that's okay, gamers. I've got the solution, and it's not that kind of solution. Let's just get right into it. On a serious note though, gamers, I'm going to be telling you, without all the bullshit, all the fluff, etc., how to actually make and maintain decent money, as well as build good wealth maintenance habits while you're young. A lot of young people, like, they don't know what to do, and especially if you're too young to get a job, it's like, you know what, I want all this moulahs, okay? I want all this cotton poly paper blend. All right, don't worry, these aren't real. But I'm not of the legal age to work, and these bastards took away the whole like child labor, like right to work thing. It's absurd, and I feel you. I'm here to help, gamer. All right, and a lot of these tips are gonna sound cheesy, but I'm only gonna tell you the cheesy ones that actually work. Let's get started with the bare bone basics. If you can work at all, even if it's mowing lawns for a neighbor or babysitting, do it. Get on a grind. You need some kind of money as well as to build a work ethic. And then while you're young, even if you can't necessarily make a lot of money, try to open a joint account with your parents so that you at least have a bank account and get to know what it looks like, get to know what statements are, all right, get to know what the inside of the building's like. So soft skills like that are gonna make literally all the difference. I mean, if you can't manage your bank account, how are you gonna manage money, gamer? It's gonna end up being really simple by the time you're old enough to be able to toy around with it, for lack of a more somber word. All right, gamer. But suggestions for that, and I'm not just gonna tell you, oh, go get a bank account, stinky, go get a job, stinky. No. Okay, if you're under the age of, usually it's 16 or 18, then I recommend, again, literally, if you're in a place where mowing lawns is a thing, mow lawns or do some kind of yard work for neighbors. Family friends are a big ups, all right? Typically, I mean, especially if you live in an okay-ish neighborhood, or not even so, family friends love to help build work ethics with their friends' kids. All right? People love kids unless they're evil bastards. Trust me. So try to find some sort of way to make that kind of money. But if you can't, then we're going to get into it, gamers, in just a minute, what you can and should do in the meantime, whether or not you can make money, and you'll be doing this when you are working. But when you do manage to get some sort of source of money, I recommend, if you're young or a student at all, Bank of America. Not just for the memes. I recommend Bank of America because for students specifically, no fees, at least at the time of recording this. Plus, oh my goodness, this is epic. They have this credit card. I did a whole review video on this. I want to remake it because it's just gotten better. Gamer, I think it's completely worth having a Bank of America account much sooner than later. If you're below the age of 18, get a joint account with your parents. You can separate them later, or you can just have them part of it. Whatever, bada bing, bada boom, Bank of America. And when it comes to a job that's higher paying than just your standard subpar minimum wage job, if you live in a sort of unionized grocery store working area, try to work for a grocery store, right? Arizona, for example, is unionized grocery stores, so they get good health benefits as well as pay. Now, not to say unions are a good thing. Unions cringe, but take advantage while you're young, all right, gamer? Now, aside from that, if you don't live in a place like that, work in a place like Chick-fil-A, right? Places that look for the sort of skills with extracurriculars. If you have that boosted energy, right? If you're uppity, they'll pay you a little bit extra, and I think that's completely worth it, as well as to build your soft skills. Not to get too sensual there, gamers. But listen, if you are too young to work, if you don't have family, friends, or you know what, regardless, the main investment you should be making, especially at a young age, while your brain is plastic and stuff like that, and even when it's not, is to invest in yourself. Knowledge! Cheesy, I know, but this part's vital, huge. It's changed my life entirely. It is the keystone habit that's guided me towards anything good. I know that sounds like a bold claim, but it's true. You want to work on yourself, and here's the route I've been taking to do so. Not just from YouTube videos, which work if you choose the right ones, but audiobooks is what I primarily use. Also, I'm definitely not against just sitting down with a classic piece of literature on paper and smelling that library smell, whatever. But try to get books inside you, all right? Not like that. Gamer. Here's why. It's basically, for the most part, if you choose the right books, people's lives and experiences condensed into a couple of hours or a few hours, or maybe even a few dozen hours, who cares, of content. All of the highlight points.
What the hell?
What? Sex! All the stuff that is huge and that they've proven to work, that they've done themselves, that they're not just pulling out of some clickbaity title thing or someone's course, whatever, that they so claim. 1 second, gamer. Sorry, it's just too tempting. Okay. None of this fake guru crap, which is why, again, I recommend steering towards books over courses. Additionally, books are so much cheaper than courses. I also have a flurry of suggestions for books. We'll even have videos reviewing books and stuff like that, going over key points and telling you why you should read certain books. And I'll suggest a few books in this video, specifically for making and maintaining wealth at a young to older age. But we're going on a tangent here, gamers. Read books. I'll give you some suggestions, you know what, right off the bat for this video. I'm not going to keep you waiting for those. Number 1. Get to this one, Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you've been to any of the live streams, you've probably heard that done to death come out of my mouth. But seriously, Atomic Habits by James Clear is probably one you want to get as a fundamental and read a few times. That applies to a few of the books I'll recommend in the future, but Atomic Habits by James Clear will definitely build that keystone understanding of, hey, well, how do I make sure I do this basically autonomously, right? How do I build habits without even having to necessarily think about them? Can I understand habits? How much do habits? Basically, habits make up a big portion of your success, all right, and ease of use in the journey of that success. Atomic Habits by James Clear. I insist that you read it a few times. It's on Audible. Now, on top of that, you want to get a book called, hold on, I forgot how to read for a minute. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Not so much of a money book, is it, Brad? Of course it's a money book. Where does money come from, gamer? And don't tell me the Fed, all right? Don't tell me whatever centralized bank your country may or may not have. It comes from other people. It comes from the customer. Whether you're providing a good or service, other people pay you. And why should they, right? They're certainly not going to if they don't like you. We'll get into points like that later with other book recommendations, like, for example, Way of the Wolf, which, by the way, learned from his book, not from his movie. The movie was a cautionary tale. The book is the actual meat that he's sustained, that he can provide with his experience and skill. But if people don't like you, your life's going to be miserable. You're not going to make money. So most certainly, like, why would you give money to someone who sucks? You hear the saying tirelessly, all right, seemingly tirelessly. If you're in business, you're in the business of sales. So how to win friends and influence people. It'll also make your life much happier. And you know what? You want to be a pleasant person to be around, right? Generally, I can't say so much for myself. I'm reviewing the book again, but for the sake of your friends, you know, for the sake of even just leisure. It's great to be a solid friend in that sort of sense. And how to win friends and influence people, I think, is just another big deal. Now, when it comes to money specifically, this one is an absolute masterpiece. Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Absorb every ounce of it. Like despite it being such a long piece of work, it is so jam-packed, absolutely condensed and concentrated with amazing stuff. I insist you check out How to Win Friends and Influence People by Tony Robbins. All right, now, gamer, let's get into some beginner investment recommendations, because I know everybody's eager to jump into the game, especially with all the GameStop, Hubbub, etc. All right, I've got you. Now, if you're young, I don't necessarily recommend going all in. All right, until you have a heavy amount of capital, You want to have more in your savings than your investments, right? Eventually, once you get bigger, you don't want to have more in your savings than your newer investments because of opportunity cost. That's a whole complicated thing. We'll get into it. But for the time being, until you have a big amount of money, what you want to do is save to invest. And you generally want to do that. But as you're small, you want to keep the risk down because your experience is low. And with low experience, the risk leans towards the cringe outcome side, if that makes a lot of sense. Your risk goes down with experience. You eventually do make your own luck in the stock market. It's not a casino, as people say it. That's ridiculous to even utter. It's like, oh, well, it's just gambling. Yeah, okay, you salty, weak-handed son of a gun. Buy high, sell low, son of a gun. Forgive me, gamers. I gotta calm down. But gamers, try to have a higher savings than investments. I recommend, no, I insist, a high interest savings account. I'm sure you've heard that done to death. Ally Bank is still a solid contender. They're a lot more consistent than the other high interest banks. Highly recommend Ally Bank. But if you find another one with a higher interest rate and it seems more consistent, or if I find one with a higher interest rate that's more consistent, I'll tell you about it, gamers. Go for it, of course. But Ally Bank I found to be the longest lasting contester. Despite them fluctuating their interest rates to match the market, like all banks have to do, Ally Bank is a lot more consistent. Like on average, they're higher, is basically what I'm trying to say, without getting too complicated. Now, to oppose my previous point that I just made, you do want to get your hands dirty in the stock market. Hear me out. Hear me out, all right? You want to put a little bit of money in there so that you get experience with low risk because you don't have a lot of capital, right? And you'll be focusing on percentages instead of dollar amounts. Try to get your hands dirty. Do a beginner, like hop into a beginner. Obviously you have to be 18 unless you co-sign a brokerage with your parents or another guardian, but get your hands dirty as soon as possible into a beginner level brokerage. I'm not going to recommend Robinhood anymore. Screw Robinhood. Get into the habit of not participating at all into things that are cringe, into companies that pull such horse shit. Okay? So a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm just one person. It doesn't matter. 60% of people who can, for example, vote, don't. You know who makes up that market? People who think their individual voice doesn't matter. So it does, gamer. And as soon as we get people on board with that whole, well, individuality matters because individuals make up society, the better. So don't participate in cringe companies, point blank. You will make them money even if you're not paying them fees. Webull isn't bad. It did participate, but it's good for new investors. Webull and One Finance. I'll try to leave more suggestions in the description as they come. But gamer, this video's gone on long enough. Check the description for the books I mentioned. I've also got referral links if you're interested in a few of the investment thingamajings that I recommended. Look, I love you. I do. I know things are moving pretty quickly, but it's true. That's why I want you to get right with your money. Money is a catalyst, right? It will boost you in whatever direction you're heading. So hopefully we get you into a good one, gamers. With plenty of money to provide the nitrous to do that. All right. Does that make sense? All right, I see. All right. Now time for a literal kiss on the face. I love you. Thought the camera broke out. And better talk soon, gamer. Okay. Also, I'm legally obliged to say this. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. It just doesn't feel right. Okay. But forewarning, if you do like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, my algorithm will not only feed you more of my content, but content like this. So keep that in mind. And if you want less content like this, smash dislike. I love you.